Bam, 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 bam. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening? Welcome back to another episode of the 49 Show. The 49 Show. The 49 Show. With your boy, K.O.D.S. And I am back with another episode. And I just want to let you all know, all you 49er fans, hello. Hope you all doing good out there. Hope everybody's being safe, cautious, and everybody's out there still being healthy and safe. So I just want to let people know that today a few things broke out with concerning the San Francisco 49ers. Now there's also some news going on with NFL players and health concerns that they have, which is very understandable with this whole COVID thing. The NFL is not really coming out saying anything. They're not giving the rules or the policies or anything like that. And we're just a week away from training camp. We're ready to get this thing started if they're going to have a season. And the NFLPA are talking about certain things. And the NFL is just not, once again, not getting the picture, not getting the big picture and not doing what needs to be done at a good timing. Once again, it's bad timing for them all. But what I want to talk about first is the 49ers. Of course, this is the 49 Show. And I just want to let you all know that there was a report by Peter King that came out earlier today, this morning, I believe, that he says that Deebo Samuel might be out until October. Now, we know last month when Deebo Samuel had a Jones fracture foot injury last month in Nashville working out with teammates, it was said that he would be out. He said that he would be back by the start of the regular season, which is highly optimistic. However, reports came out days later after he had surgery that he would be out for 12 to 16 weeks. Now, that is quite some time. And that definitely does go through September. Now, I don't know where Peter King gets his source from, but from what I read, it seems like it's just his take, his opinion on when Deebo Samuel will be back. Why today, though, that he mentioned that, I have no idea. But he's saying that he thinks that he's going to be out until October. So with that being said, if we have to go the first month without Deebo Samuel, what do you guys think, ladies and gentlemen? How do you feel about that? Do you think we will be okay? Do you think that we will struggle? Now, looking at the schedule, we open up against the Cardinals. We also have the Miami Dolphins, the LA Rams, but we open up the season though where it's fairly easy. It's the Arizona Cardinals, and I believe it's the Jets and the Giants to open up the first 3 weeks. All three of those wins are winnable, so that will be 3 games that Samuel will miss, and then finishing off the month is the Dolphins and the Rams going into early October. If he misses those games, well, we got the Eagles as well in there. That one would be probably competitive. But if he misses the first 5 to 6 games, looking at the schedule, if we have a season, we probably will be fine. Now, again, we don't have Emmanuel Sanders anymore, and Deebo was supposed to be the number 1 guy. But if we run the ball like we did a majority of the season last season, then we still may be okay. It's all about how well our rookie receiver, Brandon Ayuk, develops, into a NFL pro at wide receiver. Jalen Hurts also coming back. Trent Taylor, we don't know anything about him just yet, but we know he had 5 surgeries on that foot after being a stud last year in training camp, and it's the same foot injury that Deebo Samuel sustained. So all of that's the news. Peter King, don't know where he got his sources from, but he's saying that Deebo might be out until October. That's really not a big of a surprise, though, because we kind of knew he wouldn't come back by week 1 like he says. But looking at the schedule, the 49ers can take their time with this injury. The way he makes his breaks and routes, the quick foot speed that he has in short areas of the field, you have to be able to plant your foot. And so it needs to be well. They have to be safe with him. They have to be cautious, and they have the opportunity to take their time because of the schedule, the way it starts off for us. If we don't have to rush him back, then that will be a plus. That will be a major bonus for us, because If he tweaks anything in that bone, in the foot, and he hurts himself again, then he's probably going to be shelled for the rest of the season. So if we miss 4 to 6 games, I want to just say 4 right now, the month of September without Deebo, that's better than missing the entire season. So that's the news on Deebo Samuel. He may be out until October. Not sure if that's a big surprise. Now, the next news that came out today was the 49ers and Raheem Mostert have cleared the air. They had a meeting, it was said today, where they have talked about this whole trade situation. I did a video the last time where we talked about Raheem Mostert, and he demanded a trade. This was highly unexpected, even though we know he did have a great run to end the season, but it was only half a season. And that was the arguments that the 49ers can make with him as far as why they don't want to trade him if they're not going to trade him. We hadn't heard anything. It seems to me, though, from what I've read, the research shows in the article that maybe he has rescinded his trade demands. And, hey, let's be real here. How can I put this? In translation, Mostert and his agent have probably realized that, hey, we screwed up. We don't have enough leverage. We've got to play ball. It is what it is. We'll just have to do what we can do to be better later. Finish this season, see what happens. Maybe they give you, at least by making this trade demand, maybe they give you a boost in your pay, a little boost. But again, with Jeff Wilson and Tevin Coleman, on this roster already, and Shanahan having that running back by committee approach where whoever plays better at the time, he goes with the hot hand. You're needed, but you're not that needed. Like, it's not imperative that we keep you here on this roster. You're just another spoke on the wheel. The wheels are going to keep on turning. They're going to keep spinning, with or without you, because of my system. That's what Shanahan and the 49ers could present to him. And maybe they done that today in this meeting. But the meeting that they did have was that Mostert and the 49ers have cleared the air. So I take it that they're okay. He's not demanding the trade anymore. He'll shut up and he'll play football if they have a season. That is good news, because we all felt that Mostert, you're kind of making a mistake here. Raheem Mostert, has he heard Steve Young's comments? Because Steve Young made some comments as well this past week saying that if it's not George Kittle, who is the topic of discussion right now as far as money and contract negotiations are concerned, then I wouldn't open my mouth too quick if I want to be a 49er. And Steve Young said some real shit right there when he said that. It was real. And, it's facts. They're focused on Kittle right now. They're not focused on anything or anybody else. So with that being said, hey, he realizes it maybe now. And let's be honest, the agent didn't do him any favors at all. He didn't do him any justice by coming out, doing what he did, saying what he said, and trying to get this man more money. I understand he had to shoot his shot, at the age that he is now. And when this contract ends, he'll be 30. He'll be right at 29 or 30. So I understand him shooting his shot, because the way they restructured it, though, they restructured that contract as him being a special teams player. And he was a special teams ace. However, he got the hot hand. Breida was hurt. It was Coleman and then Mostert just took it over. And he did tear it up. So he shot his shot. Can't blame him for it. But at the same time, hey, look, what are you going to do? You just got to play. You have no leverage. And in translation, that's what I think that pretty much means. Hey, I have zero leverage, so I'll just go ahead and rescind my trade demand, and I'll play football. So that's pretty much it. Mostert and the 49ers have cleared the air, so they may be good. And we may be able to not have to worry about trading him here or there. What are we going to get back for him in return? What's his value and all of that crap? This is good news again if they have cleared the air as the report says on Bleacher Report, and that they are going to, just, hey, let bygones be bygones. We'll kick it under the rug. Same thing with Garoppolo on the Brady thing. Hey, we were honest with you, Garoppolo. Yes, we were considering Brady, but we just kicked the tires. We kept you in the loop. We want you as our quarterback. Same thing here. You want the trade. We don't want to trade you. Well, actually, this is, I guess, more similar to the Robbie Gold situation where he wanted a trade. We didn't do it. He came back, he kicked, and we got ourselves in the Super Bowl. And I'm sure he should be pretty happy that it worked out the way it worked out. We did get him a deal done, and it worked out. Mostert, however, is, I hate to say it, as good as he plays in Shanahan's system now, he is not needed as much as Robbie Gold was. Robbie Gold was our kicker, and we only had a punter, and a kicker that we had just signed off the street, so we needed Robbie Gold, and even then we didn't budge, but we did get a deal done. So, again, Mostert really had no leverage here. It was just more of, do the 49ers say, if you don't want to be here, screw it, we'll send you your way if we get what we want out of it? Or did they say, we're not doing this, you're going to play, or if you don't play, fine, we're still not trading you anywhere because it's not costing us much. He's only due $2.5 million this year. And the thing was, when I got off from streaming live with you all the last video, what I didn't know at the time, I don't believe, is that he wanted Tevin Coleman money, and Tevin Coleman's getting about $5 million this year, $4.5 million, I mean, so that's not much more. So he wasn't asking for much. However, doesn't look like he's going to get that either, unless they work something out and they give him an extra $1 million or $2 million if they can restructure some contracts here or there. But it looks like they've cleared the air, and Mostert is not going anywhere. And again, that's good news. I personally don't think he had any leverage. From all the chats and the people that joined me, they didn't think he really had any leverage either. I mean, yes, he had a better season than Breida, and we only got a 5th-round pick for Breida, so we probably could have got a 3rd or a 4th for Mostert, maybe. But, I mean, again, it was just half a season. So that was the 49ers' arguments, I'm sure. But however this meeting went, it seems like it was, it wasn't negative. It seemed like it was pretty positive. So that's pretty much it. Mostert and the Niners cleared the air. Deebo is going to be out until October, allegedly. That's what Peter King says. Again, I don't know where he got that source from. The season is coming up if we're going to have one. The NFL players have health concerns because they are putting their lives at risk. They say they want to play. They hashtag that they want to play. However, they don't know anything. The NFL have not given them any guidelines to what this season is going to be like. And you can't blame these players like J.J. Watt, Russell Wilson, etc., who was coming out speaking up, saying, hey, what are we going to do here? Time is running out. And that's true. It is. Zach Ertz tweeted earlier today as well. Time is running out. It doesn't make any sense that we've come this close to training camp and we have no idea what to expect. One of these players on our teams or anybody's team so happens to get COVID-19. If they test positive for it, they have to leave the team, and they have to quarantine for the next 10 to 14 days. And so does anyone who was exposed to them during that time. That could be the whole damn roster. It could be the entire football team. So there's a lot of questions on what should happen, how it should happen, and it needs to happen pretty soon, whatever it's going to be, because teams, just about a majority of the league reports training camp on July 28th. And right now it's July 20th. So we're talking 8 days here. Once again, Roger Goodell taking his sweet time and not getting it pretty much. It just seems like he just doesn't seem to get it. But again, I just wanted to share with you about the Deebo news. He could be out until October. And Raheem Mostert may be a 49er for the 2020 season if we have one. He may not be going anywhere. And, that's pretty much the way it should be anyway. This shouldn't have been news anyway regarding to him, because there's other running backs on the roster. And, there's probably other running backs that he could just sign for a little bit of nothing off the street and put them in there, and they can still fit in that scheme. Hell, my ass could probably still get out there and run Shanahan's system, just because it's that good. And that's what Mostert benefited from. He wouldn't have succeeded anywhere else. I don't think he would have, depending on where he went. So this is probably for the best, and I hope that this is how it's going to end up. Mostert just, my bad, I apologize. I was out of my league. I was out of pocket. I'm going to play football. I'm going to be quiet, forget the money. And they may give him an extra $1 million or $2 million, just for the sake, that, hey, we realize what you've done, and we realize that we gave you a new contract when we restructured it. Not a restructure. They gave him an extension, and that extension was based off special teams pay. And that was the agent's argument. But hey, man, look, There's only so much money to go around when you're a Super Bowl team and you've got a lot of good players on your roster who are eating up a majority of the cap space. So that's pretty much all I got. That's it. Deebo could be out till October, according to Peter King. Again, I don't know where that source came from. And Mostert and the 49ers may be good. So there may not be a trade after all, and we may have our 3 running backs, Mostert, Coleman. I would think Mostert will still start, along with Coleman and Jeff Wilson, who I am pumped to see activated on the activated roster since Matt Breida is gone. So it'll be interesting if we have a season. Do you think we're going to have a season? If you do, what do you think our record is going to be? I'm going to come back later this week, and I'm going to give my predictions on the 49ers and the 2020 season. I'm kind of scared to do it. I'm a little reluctant to do so because the last time I gave an in-depth look at our 2020 depth chart and the roster, a few days later, Mostert came out and demanded a trade. So I'm almost afraid to come out and say what I think our predictions will be. Somebody else will either go down for the season and be out, or they'll say, hey, I want out too. I want a trade. Just never know. The NFL news is just always going. It's an ongoing thing, and things happen at any given time, any given day. But the players have health concerns, and I understand why. It's basically coming down to are y'all going to play or not? The owner for the Raiders came out and said that he will not have any fans in the stadium. Hell, he doesn't even know if they should even be playing or not. That's what he came out and said today. So we're really, really, really on the brink here of the season, being lost for 2020 in the NFL. I don't think college are going to play at all. It doesn't look like it. So we don't know what's going to happen. But as of now, I'll do what the NFL is continuing to do. I'll go on and act as if we're going to have a season. And so I'll come back later this week in a few days here with my predictions for the 49ers and how we're going to look, the schedule. I'll give you a game-by-game analysis on what I think we'll do and how our record, will be at the end of the 2020 season. And if we play, this could be a big year for Jimmy Garoppolo. It really could, especially if he has that scenario that I gave you about a month or two ago with the chip on his shoulder, with this whole Brady thing, kicking the tires on a 42-year-old quarterback. All right, so that's pretty much all I got. Mostert is due $2.5 million in base salary this season and $2.8 million in the 2021 base salary. They'll probably give him a little bump up in pay, if he stays, if he shuts up and just decides to play. It looks like they're good, though. That's all I really wanted to let you know today. I'll come back again, like I said, with my predictions for the 49ers and the NFC West. I've already done my NFC West predictions on my podcast. That's the Great Debate Show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Check me out, me and my co-host, Terrence Smith. That's been it for the 49 Show, man. I will be back, as usual, red and gold till I'm dead and cold. Y'all be safe out there. Peace and love.